Right, after I did my last video, I had a couple of messages just asking me to explain about how I did my window boards in a bit more detail. So I'm going to show you how I've put my window boards on. You might have a better way, which is fine. This is just my way, what I like to do. I get good results and it works for me. If your way works for you, fantastic. Right, so the first thing I've done, where my window board's going, I've cleaned it. I hoovered it, and I did that to get rid of all the insulation just from when I was insulating. But then I've got a cloth, I've wiped this down, I've wiped that down, and I've given this a wipe just to get rid of any dust. I don't understand why people would want to put something in dirt or trap dirt under window boards. So just keep clean and prep your area, and it gives you pride in what you do, and you get a nice product, and it's the right thing to do. Right, so this is one of the window boards, and they're 296 millimeters wide. I think that's too wide because by the time I get adhesive, dry liners, a plasterboard and some skimming, I think it's too much overhang. For me, I think it's too much overhang. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to reduce that down on my circular saw, and I'm making it, oh no I'm not, I haven't cut it yet, and I'm making it 276 mil, and it looks a lot more suitable for me. Here's one I did earlier. You know, I just think by the time you get plasterboard and adhesive, it just looks a tidier overhang. And one thing what you can do is, especially if you're using wide window boards, you can cut yourself a lat down, fasten it onto there, screw it through into the sill. I'll use this as an example, even though it's way too big. You'd cut a lat down, screw it through into the sill, and then, trying to do it all one hand. You can sit your window board on and glue it down to that timber, and even pin it if you wanted, and it just helps to hold the back edge of your window board. But I'm not doing that. I'll show you what I'm doing. So these are heavy duty straps. You know, there's no very little give in them. The light duty ones, there's too much give in them. So these are a 300 mil bar with a 100 mil bend, so that's 200 mil. And if you look, that goes very nicely to the back of the board, so that is why I'm not putting on a lat on the back. Right, so what I'm going to do now is cut this board down through my saw. You know, when you, well, I'm going to say when you're walking with a feeding something long through your circular saw, you want to do it all the time. Always make sure your area is clear for you to do your work. You don't want to be tumbling over anything, so just make sure it's always clear around your saw. Right, so I've ripped that down, and what I'm going to do now, I'm going to find the middle of this board and put a mark, and I'm going to find the middle of the window and put a mark, and I'm going to measure it from between there to the same on the other side. Right, so I've got my centre mark there. I'm going to put my square on, just draw a line down. Now to find the centre of there. Right, so it's 1177. That's the centre point. So it's 1177 from there to that blue thing. So I'm going to call it 1175. I'm going to find 1175 on here. $11.75. I'm going to hold it on that pencil mark there. I'm going to mark a pencil line at the end of my tape like that. See there? Now I'm going to do the same exactly up there. So 1175. 1175. Hold up my pencil mark. Make a mark. So I put my square to that line, like that. Put a pencil mark on. There. I'm going to do exactly the same this end. And just sharpen my pencil. Right, so now I need to know the depth of my block work. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to call that, look, it's 210 mil, but I'm going to call it 215 because the windowsill doesn't need to be touching the block work. Let's just check this side. Oh, that's 210. That's 205, so I'll go 210. I'll go 212. So then measure from the back, 212 mil. Put pencil mark. And I want to square that across. And that's what I'm going to cut off. So I'm going to do the same at that end. 212 mil. Now, because I had a centre mark here and a centre mark there, and all the measurements have been taken from that centre mark, I know that this window board will be set in the middle of that window opening, so it will be central. I'm going to cut these out now. I can use a jigsaw. I just like to use a handsaw because I just think it's a neater job. It's a nice comfortable height to cut it, so I've just put it on a little hop up on that end, just wedging on a bucket. Right, got to do the same at that end. Then once I've cut them, what I like to do is just try and do it one-handed. I just like to sweep my mess up. In my videos, I've had quite a few comments about cleanliness, and it just takes seconds just to... Oh, it's there. Because I'm trying to do it one-handed, it just takes seconds to pick it up. So I'm just gonna get that rubbish up. So I've cut them, and if you look, there's a round on there. I don't want to... You're gonna see that. I just want to put a round on there now. And I'll just use my little block plane. So I need to get that ready, and what I like to do is this. People will be saying, "Oh, buggering about." I don't care, it's what I like to do. So I get my square, I sit it on there, you know, about 10 mil in, and I put a mark at the top and a mark at the bottom, and then I just, it's because I'm trying to do it on the camera, but I just draw, it's because I'm trying to do it, I normally do it really quick, you know, and I know that point is above that one. You know, when you're sat in your room, looking at the corner of your windowsill, it's not like that, it's like that, hopefully. So right, I'm gonna plane that down. There, I get it something like that. I use this to make it pretty. Yeah. Right, I've done the ends on both ends. So what I now need to do is find this point here, this edge. So I'm going to sit the ceiling like that. Get my pencil. Make sure it's back. Get my pencil. And just run it down like that. All the way down. And put it back on my bench. Just put my spirit level on that line. That gives me a better line. So now I'm going to mark my bracket. I'm going to come in 100mm from the end, put a mark, square that across, 100mm, square across, so what I'm going to do now is I'll have a bracket there like that, I'll have a bracket there like that, a little bit there like that, so there'll be, so I'm going to get the measurement between, let's say, that edge of that bracket and that edge of that bracket, and divide it by 3. 1, 2, 3, because there's 3 gaps. I'll go from that mark 716. I'll go 716 again. So there's my marks, and just because I want to be tidy, I'll hold that on the centre, put a mark there and a mark there, put it on the centre, put a mark there and a mark there. I'll just square them across now. I only really needed to put one pencil mark on, but I put them both on because it's there. So now that bracket will go there, but this edge of this bracket wants to be just in front of that line, because that's my block work. If it's there, that's going to be in my block work, and my sill won't go back against the window. So if I'm just a couple of mil in front of it, so I'm going to do that on every one of them. Right, I've done that, and they're just in front of the line, you can see. Just in front of the line. So what I want to do now is, if I can set the window board on there and know it's nearly level, or know it's level, it makes it easier for me. So now I'm going to set some spacers up on here so that the back edge, when I sit the windowsill on, I know that it's level and it's at the height where I want it to be. So where I like to set my window board, wherever you want to set yours, you set it. This is just what I like to do. That's your sill, now what your window's sat in. So I just like to come a few millimetres above that, like that, and it leaves me a little gap there, so that when I have somewhere, when I put my silicone in, it gives me somewhere substantial for the silicone to go into. Because if you just smear it on thin, it just comes off. So you just want that seating for your silicone. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to set them packers. I think that'll work nice. So look, there's my bucket of packers. I've got all different sizes in there. If I sit that off-coat of windowsill on, I can put packers on just to give me a guide to see where I want to be in relation to that. I think it wants to be that. So I can just swap them around. Make sure I'm happy with it, and I am. So I'm going to put packers on at that level all the way through. So I've got them set up across there. Top of all them is level. What I want to do now is paint all these. All these cut edges and down the back. I just want to seal it because MDF is not good in moisture. And because you put your brackets on first, you can just prop it up, look, and you just get to all your edges. It just makes it so easy to paint. I'm going to start to get it in position now. Right, so that is sat in, but I just want to put a block on it just to make sure that it's sat down properly on the wedges. I just want to weight it down. Right, so I just put a couple of blocks on. It's sat down, and there's my little gap. It's sat back against the window. So I'm just going to check it for level and level that way. The only two bits I'm interested in at the moment are the two ends. Because I know that end is sat on the packer, I need to level it this way now. So a little boat level. And I can see this side wants to go up. So that side's good. I've got it on some wedges. Now do the same at this end. That's down. You can see it wants to go up. Bit more. Right, that looks good. Now I'll put a spirit level across the top. We're just up a touch at that end. Right, so I'm happy with that. I'm all right there. I'm all right there. I'm all right there. So I'm going to fix these two end brackets now. Right, then I've put a couple of screws in the end brackets. Need to sort the middle out now, because if you look, this is just bellying a little bit there, but that one's all right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fix that one, and then we'll come here and put in a couple of wedges underneath here just to lift this up a fraction, and it'll close that gap off.
You can buy wonderful also some festive Mission Christmas socks. Oh, that's a gift. And they all make a donation to our Mission Christmas appeal. So if you want to,
Right then, so there's a gap under there. So what I'll do now, I'll put a couple of wedges in. So I think I'll cut my wedges. Oh, that might do it. Let's just get that lifted. Now, good enough. I should have cut deeper wedges. Well, I'm still happy with that. Looks nice under there, all the way down there now. Right, so now we'll get all that formed up with my gun. This just helps support it all, gives it a bit of bearing. Plus I've got an air test, so I want to be... Oh. Right, I'm going to get rid of my camera because I don't want to be bugging about with phone and my camera, but I'm sure you get the gist. There we are, and then when that's gone off, I'll trim this off. I'll just saw cut them wedges off. And we've got a windowsill which is solid, level, central, and that's all there is to it.